The weather has definitely changed today and it's looking quite, well, I think I'm going to get wet before I get home, put it that way. So quick once around the fields, I think. Not much to see, not much to see at all, but still always an absolute pleasure. So, is November, late autumn, or early winter? I'm never entirely sure, because technically I suppose, you know, the 4 seasons should be divided between 12 months, shouldn't they? So I've always kind of seen it that December, January and February are winter because they're the coldest months, and then once you get into March, April, May, you start getting the warmer weather. That's the spring, and that's where, of course, when you get all the bluebells and the daffodils and everything like that. And then you get difficult then, you see, because then you've got June, July, August, definitely summer months, but that would mean that September, October, November would be autumn, and we're now in mid-November. And it's still quite temperate. It doesn't feel very wintry yet, so I'm going to call this autumn. I think, yep, that's the way I'm going to sort the year out. So there you are, you've been told. It's all very damp and slippy underfoot out here, but also very pleasant. Just looking at the ash trees, they've actually looked quite healthy this year. There's been some good news in the fact that new ash trees that are growing seem to have developed an immunity to ash dieback, the terrible disease that came across from the Far East and decimated about 20-25% of all the ash trees in the UK. They've had to take several down here due to the fact that they were diseased, because unfortunately it's spread by a fungus, it's spread by spores. So if one tree gets it, they all get it if the wind's in the right direction. There's at least a couple over there that got taken down. In fact, there's one there, I don't even just see it ahead of me. Behind the 2 trees directly in front of me, before the houses, is the tree that's been cut off. That was an ash, they've obviously taken that one down. Yeah, very sad, but as I said, they seem to be developing some resilience, and it seems that what ashes we have left stand a good chance of being saved. So that's very good news. We had the same thing a few years ago with Dutch elm disease, absolutely decimated all the English elms, and I hardly ever see an elm tree now. I mean, this area where I am now has got hundreds of trees, thousands of trees. I don't think there's a single elm amongst them, not a single elm amongst them. But they are being replanted, they are being put back into the landscape now, and then again the new versions are resilient. So hopefully we'll start to see the English elm making an appearance again as well. Oh, it's now a race between me and Monsieur Plut. Am I going to get home before the rain starts? I'll be lucky, I think. Come on, dogs, let's move it. Oh, I just felt a drop on my face. Camera going away. Back in London, and I have to say, if I really do move back to Cornwall in the next couple of years, which is something I'm planning to do, I will miss all this. I'll miss the culture, the street food, the restaurants, the art galleries, all things that make London brilliant. In fact, London has just been voted the best city in the world for the 11th year in a row. So when you hear, you know, certain presidents in large countries on the other side of the Atlantic saying that London is terrible, it's dangerous, and you can't go out on the streets, and it's too dangerous, it's absolute balderdash. I worked here for 30 years as a police officer, and I worked for a further 10 years in TV and radio in London, and I've been coming into London at least 2 or 3 times a month ever since I left those jobs. Never an issue. It's always an absolute joy. I love the place. Absolutely love it. Today I'm heading for a particular place called the Fitzrovia Chapel, which I have featured on an earlier video. I can't remember which one it was now, but it's the most extraordinarily beautiful little chapel right in the middle of London, right in the middle of Fitzrovia, which is the area just north of Oxford Street. And the reason I'm going there is because my friend Ben Edge, who's an artist, a wonderful artist, is currently staging his largest ever exhibition. Now his work mostly centres around British folk traditions, British folklore, and the sort of history of Britain, and it's absolutely brilliant. And he's painted this gigantic altarpiece that tells the entire history of Britain in one gigantic painting. Can't wait to see it. As I was saying, this area is known as Fitzrovia. It used to be known as the rag trade. All this area was known as the rag trade because all the tailors and the clothes makers were all based around here. They're mostly gone now, apart from a few very posh and very bespoke tailors. But there was a lot of money here at one time, as you can tell by some of the buildings. Absolutely wonderful. But now it's Fitzrovia, or some people call it NoHo, because we got Soho on the south side of Oxford Street, and they call it NoHo because it's North Ho, whatever that means. Although Soho itself is a hunting cry, comes from when people used to ride chasing after foxes when this was all fields. Bizarre, isn't it? And this is where I want to be, Pearson Square, or as it's known, this is Fitzroy Place. And as we walk down here, you will see the church. It's quite incongruous amongst all this concrete, steel and glass. It's quite bizarre when you actually see the place. So just bear with me, and all will be revealed. Like I said, Ben, wonderful artist, and I love his subject matter. A few years ago, he was in a bit of a slump and saw some druids marching down near London Bridge. I thought, what's that all about? He followed them, and they started what's now become a lifelong interest in folklore. This is the Fitzrovia Chapel. Isn't it bizarre? But it's wonderful. So let's go and have a look. That's the main part of the exhibition, with this extraordinary space. And this is his Pearly Lloyd, as he argues. You know, the Mary Lloyd figure has escaped from Wales and is all over the country now, but why not a Pearly King version, which is wonderful. And then we have this. This is Children of Albion. This is his centrepiece, and it's the most magnificent piece of work. It's hard to describe just how many elements there are in it, but look. Let's have a look around the square quickly before we have a proper look at the exhibition. There are some lovely things here. Weirdly ergonomic benches, these big metal pillars. Possibly left over from when they built these things, I suppose, and they thought, let's turn it into a henge. And then there's this thing. And there's this extraordinary lump of granite. Look at this. It has a vein of quartz running down through it. And it's got examples of a lot of the written languages of the world on it, like a new Rosetta Stone. Marvellous, isn't it? It's called The One and the Many by Peter Randall Page, and if you follow that link, theoneandthemany.co.uk, it'll tell you all about it. And you can actually scan over the entire surface of the stone and see all the translations.
London, like it's the most brutal city in the world that like destroys itself and rebuilds itself. But it never loses its ancient feeling. You can feel that vibe with the. It's why it attracts artists and poets, because I think that it attracts a feeling that the ancient and the contemporary walk side by side. There's a kind of character.
Well, that was all pretty fabulous, and nice to catch up with Ben. In fact, I'm going to come in later on in the week and see him again and have an interview with him, and yeah, it's all fabulous. Anyway, time to head for the train and chunder out back to home. And it sounds like someone's got some fireworks going on in London. Toodle pip! If you've enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing. Or click on some of these links to look at some of the other videos on the channel. Or press the like button. Or leave a comment. It would be lovely to hear from you. Any combination of those 4 things would be wonderful. Thank you very much.